Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your second Chelsea FC news video of the day. We knew that it was always going to be, at one stage or another, during this transfer window, during this summer, Chelsea's, let's say, simmering pot of transfer news was all of a sudden going to boil over. And out of nowhere, players were going to leave. Bids would be going in for 100 million odd euros to clubs in Italy or maybe a club in Germany, but it looks like we won't be going for him. More about that in today's video. If you want to hear my full thoughts on Chelsea's pursuit and engaged interest now in Romelu Lukaku, then you should go and watch the video that was uploaded just before this one a few hours ago. I talked for 10 minutes about Lukaku to Chelsea, why, despite me pushing the agenda of Erling Haaland to come this summer, why signing Romelu Lukaku would still be an excellent signing for Chelsea Football Club this year. We have got a lot of stories to go through in today's second Chelsea FC news video, but first things first, at the moment you watch this video, I've hit 200,000 subscribers on GBFC, so I want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you for your support. The journey doesn't stop here, it's all about the process, so if you are still not subscribed, just because we hit 200k today, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to ask you to do so. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoy this video. And the first story that I want to discuss with you guys today is the updates regarding Kurt Zouma. This morning, and again, everything is happening so quickly right now at Chelsea that by the time you guys watch this, in a few hours' time, a player might have left or a player might actually be coming to do a bloody medical. We don't know because everything's happening quickly. But it is reported from Simon Phillips on Twitter that Kurt Zouma is close to agreeing personal terms with West Ham United. It was made pretty clear from Zouma that he didn't want to be involved in part of the deal which would bring Jules Koundé from Sevilla to Chelsea. Zouma wanted to remain in the Premier League, and West Ham are a team that have offered him a deal. Chelsea, obviously, if we sell Kurt Zouma, it's probably not the kind of money that we would like to see. You know, I don't know about you guys, but when I look at what Zouma's great at, I think whether he plays at Chelsea this season and he's one of the defenders who comes in if there's an injury, for 20 odd million or 25 million that it's being reported that Zouma could be sold for to West Ham, part of me just thinks this is far too low. And when we look at so many of the young players that Chelsea have sold this summer, which obviously when they haven't played Premier League football, Chelsea aren't in the position to go and command 15, 20 million for all of them. Marc Guéhi was an exception. Tino Livramento, he's gone to Southampton. He's going to be an absolutely top quality defender. Kurt Zouma, again, I think if Chelsea were actually the ones trying to buy a player like Zouma in this window, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, but surely the fee would be a lot higher than something around the region of £20 million. So, my thoughts on this, I really like Kurt Zouma as a player. If you watch any of the videos that Chelsea FC upload to YouTube, you can see he's a character within the dressing room. Everybody else absolutely loves him. He was one of our top scorers last season. He's been at Chelsea Football Club for a long time. I don't really think there's many people out there who do not like Kurt Zouma. So, I'm a bit disappointed he's leaving because I've always liked him. I made a video with him about 6 years ago as well in the PlayStation Schools Cup, so I've always got a little tie to the players that I've filmed with before. But Zouma to West Ham definitely strengthens West Ham. It's a good move for Zouma's career, but I think the price could have been a little better. Moving in to prices that are reportedly too high, there is a stumbling block in the Jules Koundé transfer. Chelsea obviously thought they could offer Kurt Zouma with a bit of cash to bring Koundé to Chelsea. Sevilla have made it pretty clear that they're after 80 million euros for Jules Koundé this summer, and Chelsea consider this price to be too high. Now, I get a feeling that if the Lukaku deal that we spoke about earlier, if Chelsea can keep that down to no more than 120 million euros, and they do manage to sell Kurt Zouma to West Ham, then I think it would be those kind of things that would allow us to go forward and sanction just accepting the 80 million euros that Sevilla want for Jules Koundé. He's 22 years old, he's a very decent centre-back. I spoke about him a lot more here on GBFC last week, but 80 million just seems a little bit outrageous in my opinion. And I think if Chelsea are willing to go out there and push 80 million on Jules Koundé, then it certainly begs the question to me as to why we couldn't just go out there and spend the extra 45, 50 million euros on Erling Haaland, a player who would have an extraordinary resale value, a player already at the top of the game. I don't want this to come across as like I'm a butthurt Chelsea fan who didn't get his first choice target, or it looks as though I won't get my first choice target. But at the same time, I think the stagnation that we have experienced from Chelsea Football Club during this market, when you've got Man United, who are already a couple of places ahead of us in the league, going out and signing Sancho and Varane for very, very good prices, it has made me kind of question whether or not Chelsea and the board were actually willing to go out and back Thomas Tuchel with his major targets having just won the Champions League. It isn't me complaining. If we sign Romelu Lukaku for 120 million euros with Alonso going the other way, I will be delighted because, as I said in today's earlier video, he's a top quality striker, Premier League proven, goals galore in his prime. But the Jules Kounde story, 80 million euros. I'm not sure. I don't think at this moment in time, Chelsea need Jules Kounde. And it does beg the question as to whether or not we could have done with Kurt Zouma in the squad for yet another season. Let me know your thoughts on that story in the comments down below. The next update comes regarding Callum Hudson-Odoi. I've said it a lot during this pre-season. I've been very impressed with the small amounts of Callum Hudson-Odoi we've seen, and the reports are, and you can see it across all of the Chelsea YouTube videos at the moment, social posts, Callum is looking very happy indeed, and he's set to stay at Chelsea this summer. Offers may well come in for Callum Hudson-Odoi as the window goes on, but me personally, I'm absolutely delighted that Callum Hudson-Odoi looks ready, fit and raring to go for the brand new season. The next story that I want to talk about today, I told you there was plenty to go through. I'm going to try and keep it as succinct as I possibly can. The buyback clause for Tino Livramento. For those of you that don't follow or haven't been following the academy, maybe you're a Chelsea fan, and there's nothing wrong with this, Chelsea fan who just likes to watch the big games, or a Chelsea fan who only watches the first team. You would be unaware, if that's the case, that Tino Livramento is a very, very good player. He's just signed for Southampton for £5 million, and I just know, and I'm sure everybody else who knows anything about Tino Livramento knows, in a few years' time, that value is going to skyrocket. To the point even this season, it looks as though he'll come in at Southampton and go straight into the first team as a teenager. So expect next season, Tino Livramento's price to rocket again, the same way we saw with Tariq Lamptey at Brighton. The buyback clause that Chelsea supposedly have for Tino Livramento is closer to £40 million than it was the 25 initially reported. This is a lot of money, but again, I fully respect what Tino Livramento has done by not signing the Chelsea contract, moving on. He's made it very clear for a long time that unless he sees a direct paveway into the first team, he would have to leave Chelsea Football Club in order to benefit the playing time within his career. So best of luck to Tino Livramento. I'll be watching him very closely. And who knows, in a few years' time, we might be sat here on GBFC talking about a monstrous bid to bring him back to the club. Story number 5 that I want to discuss with you guys today is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. At the moment, if you hear what we've spoken about earlier today with Lukaku, Chelsea having to spend 120, 130 million, we want to get Jules Kounde, who's already agreed personal terms, it's going to be 80 odd million euros. 200 million euros spent, that would mean, from Chelsea, which would probably close the door completely on any move that we would make for a Declan Rice. Tchouaméni would still be affordable, but it certainly bodes well for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who has been looking very good in training. He's been getting more and more minutes under his belt, and it's reported that Thomas Tuchel is very impressed with the player. I've said it myself. We talked about it with Alex Goldberg in the tier list video where I said, I think Ruben will be given the chance this season. I personally would love to see him given the chance in the squad this season. We've got Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho. We know that is a very difficult trio to break down. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek as an option, especially when you think if we bring in Lukaku as well, there are some powerhouse players in that Chelsea side. And it looks to me as though Ruben might be about to stay. There are also updates, if we move into story number 6, regarding Tammy Abraham. It was reported yesterday that Tammy Abraham was willing to reject West Ham United in order to choose Arsenal. It's also looking as though Aston Villa might be on the verge of placing a bid for Tammy Abraham. Now, I don't know about you guys, but If Man City go for Harry Kane, I don't see them splashing the cash on Jack Grealish. If Jack Grealish signs a new deal and stays at Aston Villa this season, what a signing that would be if Tammy Abraham was to then go. They've just signed Leon Bailey. They've got some brilliant players at Aston Villa. If Tammy Abraham goes there as well, I think they could be a shoo-in to challenge for the top 6. Now, I know that is a very, very bold statement, but last season we saw West Ham do incredibly well. I think if Aston Villa keep hold of Grealish and they sign a striker like Tammy, I think they could be one of the contenders to break into that top 6 this season as well. I think they've got a brilliant squad, great manager. Yes, they've lost one of the best assistant managers they could ever have in bloody John Terry, but Tammy Abraham to Aston Villa, it's something we may well see as the window develops. I'm sure if Chelsea bring in Lukaku or an Erling Haaland, but we're pretty much focusing on Lukaku now, then I believe that Tammy Abraham will look for a move elsewhere. To round up everything from this video today, to bring it back to the Lukaku deal, Chelsea, it is hour by hour at the moment things are changing. Chelsea have supposedly had 2 bids rejected by Inter Milan. Marcos Alonso as part of the deal is certainly a favourable choice from Chelsea because Inter Milan have been long-term admirers of Marcos Alonso. But I want to know what you guys think about this again in the comments down below. 130 million euros when Haaland could have been bought for 175. I'm leaving it out there for the field. I'll let you guys can let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. I'm happy with either of them, to be honest. I don't want to sit here sounding like hard done by if we bring in Romelu Lukaku. He's a wonderful striker, unfinished business at Chelsea, and I think he would absolutely succeed if we re-signed him for the club. But anyway, covered a lot in today's video. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to talk about in the upcoming hours and days. We got Spurs coming up in a friendly tonight where we parade the bloody trophy. 6 things we learnt will be out tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning. You guys can go to bed, have an early night. First thing you see when you wake up, get your coffee, your orange juice and your croissant, whatever you're going to eat. It's going to be 6 things we learned from, hopefully, Chelsea beating Spurs at the Bridge. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for 200k subscribers. I will catch you all to Come On You Blues.